Hi guys. Today I'm just gonna do a little bit of a small talk, or just my point of view of a lot of these AI tools that we're using. That is, I believe, have been a blessing and a curse for a lot of people. Yes, you were given the ability to be able to do more than you could have ever done, but at the end of the day, there comes a cost to it. So I think one of the things that people have to come to realize is whether we like it or not, the AI tools that people are using are going to get more expensive and out of reach for some, especially for people who started companies that are not going to be profitable. Remember, the decline of AI generation is inevitable for one thing and one thing only. A lot of these companies, when they were using these tools, or specifically when they were giving out these tools, they gave them out at a loss. Remember, you have Anthropic, and Anthropic is at a loss right now for the amount of money that they are burning when it comes to training these models and what they're charging people. I'm not so sure of the overall percentage of how much money they're losing, but they're operating at a loss. Same thing goes for OpenAI. OpenAI is also burning a lot of money. Remember, Sora was taken off because it was one of the money pits, I like to believe, and I think they hired someone new with a better understanding. From what I remember, they may have pivoted altogether into focusing on businesses, which is just the unfortunate reality. A lot of the times you were told that knowledge has become cheap. It's not. It is definitely not. Knowledge is still expensive. Technical skills and highly skilled individuals are still very much sought after when it comes to a lot of these LLM tools and software engineering. Because remember, by definition, um, a software engineer is an engineer or person who designs, develops, and maintains a computer software. It requires comprehensive understanding of systems and not just code generation. It has to be done in such a way that it is safe, it is secure, it saves cost. That's the one thing. They're proactively finding ways to make things cheaper. Remember when all these LLMs were coming out, they were super expensive and inefficient, but they've become more and more efficient. But still, the cost is still too high for what generally people are being offered these tools for. And as such, the end of the free ride is coming, which is in the form of Anthropic removing Cloud Code from the free, no, not from the free, from the pro memberships. Unfortunately, this is the reality of products. Unless you are a big titan of a company like Google, where you can put in a lot of money in a product and can take a loss on the long run, you really need to make that profit up front. And that's really not going to happen as quickly for a lot of these people. And remember, Google is not just a company. They've got Gmail, they've got business tools, they've got Claude, not Claude, they've got Google Stitch, which is Claude Pencil's equivalent. That's been going well. They've also got Material Design. They're part of a big ecosystem of contribution towards just society altogether. And this is why I use them a lot. I'm not really trying to run onto shiny tools that really are effective. And I noticed a few people are actually struggling because of the random billing that's happening with, I like to believe, is it Anthropic? T3 put out a video, which I'm not shocked by. The tool is brilliant. I use the free version for planning, but beyond that, I would rather use Gemini. And because Gemini can still produce really good outputs, and I use my technical knowledge to fill in the gaps and do a little bit of research, hands on. You can't take everything as gospel from the AI tools. I even noticed it with the facial recognition system that I had created with the ability to scan through videos. There were quite a few OpenCV flags and I think face detection video library variables that I saw were set by another person in a video that were not set inside the AI tools. So you still need the nitty-gritty understanding of these skills, right? So, okay, back onto our slides. The reality check for users and creators, the end of a free ride. We've already spoken about that. They're burning money and offering tools for the cheap. The unfortunate reality is they're hooking people onto having a dependency on these tools, but eventually people are either going to get priced out or be forced to pay higher subscriptions to continue to have access to a lot of these tools that they have been using. So really good budgeting and also people who have nice cash reserves will be fine because they can be able to pivot and find, alternative solutions or ways to improve their business. All right, we already spoke about what a software engineer is, which is a reality check for vibe coding. We haven't lowered the gap or needs for a lot of people who generally understand software. The unfortunate reality is you still need to have some basic understanding of tools and principles, and only with a good solid foundation can you actually move really fast. Otherwise, you're just running straight into a gorge that you saw a step too late and you're already falling in. Um, the importance of being cost effective. To be cost effective means producing good results without wasting money, time, and resources. In the current landscape, paying an affordable, skilled professional to build it right the first time is often far more effective than trying to debug broken AI generated code yourself, which is so true. Um, a shaky foundation will never hold steadfast when an earthquake is shaking. When an earthquake shakes it, when the earthquake tastes it. Yeah. So remember, the problem with a lot of these things is they're just gonna mix and mash based on data, and you don't even know what the data is. And unless you put proper guardrails and guide the direction and everything, you will struggle. There's a very interesting guy. He has a GitHub which has a lot of stars. 53,000 stars to be exact, 53,000.3 stars as of today, the 2nd of May. His name is Matt Pocock. Yes. I recently started using his GitHub, and I think as a way of fleshing out the ideas, it's brilliant. He shows what the possibility of using technical books and documentation as part of the process of trying to smooth out all the kinks before you even make a software is amazing. It really shines a strong light into like the software development life cycle, and more so even on a it almost merges stakeholders and software developers and project managers all into one nice pot. I'm still playing around with this and I'm definitely going to be learning about it. I will add the GitHub link in the description. All right. The last part, the necessity of human in the loop. The irreplaceable skill developer, even with advanced machine, involves The fundamental skills of trained developer cannot be downplayed or replaced. Human oversight is mandatory for complex problem solving. Very much so, very much so. I think we have augmented and allowed um, software to meet us at a place where we can clearly define what we mean. And by this, I mean you have skills. So if you were to use skills, you'd be able to chart out a nice understanding of how you view the software. So anyone who is a stakeholder, software developer, a project manager, and a QA or chief operations officer, finance officer can now have a documented standard which can be put into one melting pot and can all be used by everyone to create one unified document that explains everything and gives clear instructions on what needs to be done. So we're essentially bridging a lot of professions in a way that will allow us to be more proficient to create the things that we need. Prototyping is faster, ideas come quicker, but still, that is going to be very costly because a lot of these tools are chewing down a lot of credits when it comes to solving these problems. So I think having localized infrastructure is going to be super, super important and amazing with creating a beautiful way that people can essentially have standardized tools, documentation, among other things. Okay, according to IBM, defining human in the loop uh, is a process where a human actively participates in the operation, supervision, and decision making of an automated system, which is exactly what I was saying. I will have a project I will possibly create at a lesser time to showcase human in the loop or simply showcase what different skills are and how I'm using them and how they've improved my processes. I definitely will be showcasing that. Then safeguarding progress. Human in the loop is the best way to ensure that accuracy, safety, and accountability are maintained. It guarantees that the progress a computer has built is not destroyed by automated errors, rogue AI decision making. Definitely, I think Matt Pocock's skills are brilliant for that. Remember, whenever you're working with these AIs, they always go down a path of essentially derailing the progress that you've created. And I think tools like GitHub allow us to be able to track where we could have gone wrong. Let's say you're having a conversation with an AI, you can be able to create .md files that will keep the core ideas, push them, and then keep moving. And then you can always go back to the different addresses inside the GitHub to see what exactly changed. And I will showcase how you can do this on the terminal and how you can do this inside Google GitLens. No, no, sorry. Inside Google Enterprise Gravity using GitLens. So this was a little bit, not so much of a rant, but a self-reflection of the current progress of what AI is. Honestly, I think a lot of the tools have been oversold as something that would solve and help with a lot of things, but from where I stand, they haven't fulfilled on the promise. I had a project that I tried multiple times, which is making a small miniature rugby game. It was good, but that was only after Gemini 3. As it stands right now, it's absolutely disappointing. There's no ability to grasp even the simple game engine for it to work is non-existent. It can't catch the rules. It can't do any of the core mechanics properly, even with dots. So it's a very disappointing experiment. And even rugby is a complex game. I mean, they promised that these tools are going to be able to hold complex logic together, but even when I fed it a whole PDF with all the rules, it wasn't that big. It failed. It failed and it failed dismally. These tools are useful for very low, complex, mediocre tasks, to be honest. Repetitive stuff that has knowledge, that they have knowledge of. But beyond that, I wouldn't say they're great at grasping concepts, complicated concepts. Maybe one day we'll reach it, but as far as I see, no. These tools are great for boosting productivity a little bit, but they come with a whole lot of problems when you're not skilled enough to use them. And that is my YouTube video. Thank you guys for listening. I think I will be posting more often, at least once a week, be it tutorials, rants, and whatever topic suggestions will be made in the comments. I will be sure to pay attention to your comments and then make announcements on when those will be available. There's a Google form in my profile. Please be sure to visit it if you want to see certain things or share certain ideas. Thank you.